Now I can stop staring at the screen and say hi to everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is the Merry Monday Mailcall Show. It's Monday morning, bright and early here in Australia. I do have a coffee today. Thank you very much. Nice to see you all. I am going to switch to the comments and check who is in the house. We have Vincent. Very nice to see you. Great to see you again. Great to have you on the show. How have you been this week? Got a bit of a special one for you today. A very big deep dive into Secret Wars from 1984, I believe. Double check. Yes, February 1984. So we will be digging deep into that. We'll be looking through some books and a few different adjacents to the whole Secret Wars piece. I had a batch of books through this week which I wanted to share with you all, which has sort of triggered off this idea of doing a deep dive on Secret Wars. Might do it as a full video at some point. Again, I keep talking about doing this. I've got enough content now to sort of start pulling together these deeper dive shows. So I wanted to sort of take you through it. I've got a brand new t-shirt, as you can see. This is, I thought I'd wear this in honor, although some of these characters did not appear in Secret Wars, but they did appear in Secret Wars 2. So I'm very happy with that. It's a nice looking one with Captain Britain at the top with alongside Union Jack. So happy to have that. So for those of you who are new to the channel and those that are catching this on the rewind, this is still only 35 cents. And again, if you haven't been to the channel before, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell for future content. And of course, if you like this video or dislike this video, hit the like button, as apparently it does help us out. And leave a comment in the chat as well as we go through. So if there are any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. I've also put the StreamYard link in the chat as well. So if anyone wants to join in and talk Secret Wars, I'm more than happy to have you on the show and join us. So I'll probably start doing that a little bit more. We do have a special show lined up next week. I'm doing another one of my team up shows. And I will have Gary Sassaman from, basically, Gary's a very interesting gentleman. He's Tales from a Spinner Rack. So if you haven't subscribed to his channel already, I'd urge you to go over there and check it out. We have Richard in the chat as well. Good to see you, Richard. Always a pleasure. I'm glad you're here. And as I say, we're talking Secret Wars today. So good to have you. As I mentioned, we've got Gary coming next week. There is a bit of an open invitation for others that want to join the team up sessions as well. So if you are interested this week and would like to join Gary and I, we haven't got a specific subject to talk about at the moment, but it's more about Gary showing off some of his great collection. Gary was the program supervisor for San Diego Comic-Con up until recently, and again he's got some fantastic, fascinating stories, and his collection is pretty in-depth. His YouTube channel is very, very well produced. So again, if you get a chance, I will put a link into the description. Obviously, if you can as well, ring that notification bell and put your notifications on for next week's show. So I think that will be a lot of fun. We caught up at San Diego Comic-Con. I saw his panel that he did, and it was really interesting. I think it was on Go checks from the DC Comics. Found a few new books that I had to go and pick up, including the Furious 5, if those of you have not heard of that before. So yeah, that'll be a really interesting one. So all of the housework is out of the way, so that's good, and we are ready to go. So maybe I will switch to the overhead camera and we'll see how this goes today. Let's see if I can do this now. The magic of StreamYards, I'm now able to do these fantastic things that I couldn't do before. Let me just move the lighting so you get a better look. Hopefully that's clear for you all. Let me just see if I can measure it up so it's a little bit better. If I move these down, you'll get a glimpse of these books. Okay, that's good. All right, so as I mentioned, this Secret Wars, for those of you who don't know, Secret Wars was published in February 1984. And essentially it was conceived by Jim Shooter. and they announced it basically around, I think, Marvel Age was the first announcement in February 1984. And essentially, following feedback, they were doing a partnership with Mattel, and we'll come to that in a bit. You would have seen on previous shows, my Secret Wars toy, or not on previous shows, on a separate video I did on a toy fair here, where I managed to pick up a Secret Wars playset, which included the black suited Spider-Man. So that originally it was conceived as a toy line for Mattel. And essentially what they did was they had a focus group which came up with the fact that kids love to have wars, and so they came up with this title, Secret Wars. Now, they dabbled in these sort of group books before. This was the first major crossover event that Marvel had ever done. They dabbled with it before, I think, in certain crossovers they'd done it in Avengers, say the Korvac saga, for instance, and also Contest of Champions. But they hadn't done anything on this grand a scale where it completely affected the story that you would see. Now, as I say, there were a number. What surprises me and what I'm starting to collect is that they used to do, or what they had done in this one, was they had crossover titles as well that led into and showed the repercussions of Secret Wars. So it's one of those first events where realistically the landscape in the Marvel Universe really fundamentally changed across all of these titles. So this came out after a number of these books, this series. I think it came out about 8 months afterwards from the original series, and essentially tells the tale that happened in the comics that were featured. I think it was Amazing Spider-Man 249 through to 252, Avengers 242 and 243, Captain America 292, Incredible Hulk 294 through 295, Iron Man 181 to 183, The Thing 10 to 22, Fantastic Four 265, Marvel Team Up 141, Uncanny X-Men 178 through to 181, and then in Thor 341. And apparently there is another title as well, Thor 383, which was presented as a previously untold tale from Secret Wars. So there's a number of sort of follow-on books that worked with this title. Let's dig into the comments. We also have JSS Brooklyn's in the house. Glad to join. What's your favorite cover in the Secret Wars 1 and Secret Wars 2 series to jump in it, and why are they so special to you? Thank you. Right, favorite cover. Well, that is a tricky one. So let's go through. I've always been partial to this one. For some unknown reason as well, this Secret Wars issue 2 is a little bit more difficult to get your hands on if you're ever looking, other than getting a full set. I've always found this one to be slightly more difficult. I love Magneto, and I just think the way this one's drawn by Mike Zeck is particularly powerful. I think you can't get away from the original Secret Wars cover as well. I think that one's classic. There is an original art piece which I need to find, which essentially has Thor at the top here, and the original cover art as well also had Kitty Pryde as Shadowcat on the cover, which was removed because she wasn't featured in the story. So that's an interesting piece. That's on comicartfans.com. So I'll have to dig the link out, unless someone on the chat can find that link, and I'll point us in the right direction. There are other covers. I'm not a fan of this cover, even though I love this concept. It is, in my mind, probably the worst cover of Secret Wars. This is Secret Wars number 4, where, and again, I don't think we're going to be giving away spoilers here, a mountain is dropped on top of the Avengers and the Hulk and Spider-Man, and basically the heroes. And Hulk holds the mountain up, which is a phenomenal sort of idea. And I think they did a little bit of that in Secret Wars, not Secret Wars, in Endgame. Not Endgame, sorry. Endgame. But it wasn't a full mountain, so it would have been good. We'll still think that moment will be amazing if they ever translate it to screen. Chat's going off, so I better say hello to everyone again. Christina's here. Hello, Christina. How are you? Really good to see you. So yeah, let's just see what else there is that is in here. I do like that cover too. I'm not so sure about the Galactus coloring, but I like the juxtaposition of the heroes and the villains in terms of the recreation of both covers. So you get obviously the heroes and villains leaping out of the page at you from both of them. So I do like that one too. So that's one of my favorites in there. You can't go too far, unfortunately, without this classic cover. This is one of those books that I think everybody needs to own at some point. It's a great one. I'm not a fan of this cover. I think, given this is Mike Zeck, I think this cover is powerful, but for some reason the art on it, the inking, just makes it look really scratchy and could have been better realized. That's my only complaint with this. I think the pose is fantastic. And then the big one that everybody talks about, I think this was covered on John and Richard's stream recently as well. Secret Wars issue 12, featuring a maskless Doctor Doom. Not something we should see. So I should get a big post-it note and cover his face up. But I'm worried that we're going to end up seeing Doctor Doom's face in the Secret Wars movie that's coming, because I can't see Robert Downey Jr. covering his face the whole time. I don't know about that. We'll see how it goes. And then the other part of the question I seem to recall was, let me just go back at why are they special to you? So this was right slap bang in my formative years where I started collecting, and I will show you something that so they used to have these free sticker albums. This was one of them. So this all came out in the UK. The Secret Wars had just come out in the UK, and I can show you some of those. So here you have the UK editions of Secret Wars. These came out in 1985. So I'd sort of heard rumblings that things were happening in the Marvel universe and things were changing. But this was the first experience that I had of Secret Wars at the time, where you saw the changes. And we'll take this out and show you. You saw the changes. And so it's sort of, it's one of those that I saw it through the lens of my UK collecting first, before I went and started getting the US books. By that point, there wasn't that many US books coming through to newsstand as often. And so we would have these reprint titles that would give us a glimpse into what was happening in the US books. And so my first experience of Secret Wars was this comic book here. As you can see, I'm not sure. I think this appeared in the US somewhere, but again, we started with this. The Heroes Have Vanished. Great sort of start, showcasing different sort of stories around the characters. But yeah, fantastic. And then we get obviously our editorial. I'll just bring this around for you. So we get the editorial. You had free transfers on the front of this book here. As you can see here, they haven't been used yet. And then you'd get this secret artist in most of these sort of books where they'd reimagine some of the heroes by this supposed secret artist. But you'd get the original story. Now, what's fascinating for me is, if you look at this, the coloring is slightly different. Now, let's see if we can get this side by side for you without damaging the book. So there you go. Can you see that? Let's get it in. Let's just be very careful here. There. So as you can see here, we had a slightly more traditional coloring scheme here in terms of the heroes and villains. So yeah, this was like my first experience, and it was in the informative years. So it really got me into going back and collecting US comics. I'd had a few in the late 70s in the traditional US format that came through as the British UK price variants. because my dad was a newsagent. And so, you know, it sort of relaunched me back into going to collect comics. And so the problem with the UK stuff is it came out much too slowly with the title. And so therefore I went and started looking in comic books to sort of finish off the run and work out what had happened to each of these characters. Let's go back to the chat and have a quick look at the chat. So I think the Secret Wars covers are all excellent. Pretty much they are all. There's a couple of weak ones. That Secret Wars #4 I think is an exceptionally weak one. It's not, again, it was not a Mike Zeck cover, that one. I once had a book signed by Mike Zeck on that. Unfortunately, then realized it wasn't a Mike Zeck cover. And actually, I didn't think he did the interior art on that, but we'll come to that in a minute. And then we have JSS Brooklyn. Richard, agree completely. It's always fun to check out a few up close as to why one may like another more, in my opinion, just for fun. I'd be interested in the chat to let me know which ones of the covers are actually your favorites, because it's an interesting one. We've also got SideQuest in. Hey, how are you? Good to have you. Let's just see. I'm getting caught up with the chat quickly before we move on. Let's see what SideQuest has to say. Yep, me too. I got them as they came out as a kid. Also got the figures that were released at the same time. We'll come to the figures. Mine are well read, and I only have a few of the figures still. Excellent. Do you have any of them carded still? Because that's something I'm chasing at the moment, trying to get some of the carded figures. So that we'll come to that shortly, though. So let's get back to this, because I mean, I've sort of derailed it a little bit, but it gives you a sense of the direction I'm going. So what I thought is I'd do this pile over here that you can see is essentially the mail call pile that I got this week. So it's the full set. They're in reasonably good shape. The first 4 issues have a few issues on the spine. So these will end up being reader copies for me. I'd already have slabs of the Secret Wars series, which we'll come to again later in the show. Give you a sense of that. So you can see what my slab collection for Secret Wars looks like. What I've tried to do is pull as many sort of Secret Wars themed books as possible to sort of give you a real sense of how deep the rabbit hole for me and Secret Wars went. But let's cover off this, because this is how I first saw Secret Wars. So this is a magazine size UK print, and as you can see here, it's reasonably glossy paper, so unusual. So the first 3 pages you had this glossy paper, and then what we got was black and white reprints. So we got to see it in this sort of black and white format, I think with some of the zipper tone piece. So we didn't get that issue around, we'll come to it in a second. Black and white art, as you can see here, sort of recreating. And then back to the full color in the central section. What we have here as well is a great insert you put your transfers on. I think I've shown this. I have shown this in the previous mail call show, so you can have a look. But it shows Battle World there. And what does SideQuest? No, I ripped them all the way back then. The X covers are my favorite. Yes, are my favorite. And Doom. Yes. There you go. So that's that one. And then I want to just check this one. So here we do get the original coloring for this famous page that was miscolored, or the error on the first printing. So I've done a bit of research on this recently, and it turns out that this was an error in the printing for the actual. I don't believe that any of the original direct editions, first prints, have a normal printing of this. So you can see this is how it's supposed to look, and instead you get this blue Galactus on this one. So I am looking for a second print to sort of prove that theory out, but every single copy that I've got, even the newsstands, seem to just have, on the first print, seem to have this printing error. If anyone has a copy where it doesn't have that, I'd love to see it. I'm still chasing a copy that doesn't have this error printing. So for the vast majority of issues, they'll all have the blue Galactus. But again, this is how I saw it. So unfortunately, that page isn't colored, so you get black and white of that same page. But you get, if I'm just checking, the issue ends at chapter 2. The actual first issue in the UK finishes at, it's almost, yep, exactly the same point. So you got 1-for-1 issue. Now, I think from memory, yeah, every fortnight. So we would get a Secret Wars every fortnight. So realistically, in basically those 12 issues were printed over I think just it would be about 6 months, I think. So the full 12 issues, yeah. So around about 6 months for them to finish the title. So again, this is how I was exposed to Secret Wars in its first instance. I didn't get to see the toys, and again, they were marketed and sold in the UK. This is the free competition that came with it, so you get to see all of the figures in the first wave there. So a really nice little free gift to have. And as I say, I showed this before, but this is how I was exposed to Secret Wars. And so it was just a really nice thing to see. And then on top of that, what you would get is you also had the sticker album. Now, again, I've showed this on a previous stream, but it's always a nice thing. I'm 4 stickers away from completing this copy. And again, it's an interesting piece of history in terms of Secret Wars, because whilst it covers the first story, it actually also has new stories included. So you can see here I'm missing number 8. And you have one of the 4 stickers that I'm missing. And it gives you the full story, full background, and even some, as I understand it, original art that was created specifically for this book. So it's not all art that was taken directly from the Secret Wars comic books. So it's an interesting one to share with you. And as you can see here, Fury in the Frozen Land, that's the first original story here, where you have Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, and Wasp all attacking these ice creatures, and then alongside the villains, Enchantress, Ultron, and Absorbing Man. But fascinating to have that story. And then again, you'd have another story, The Savage Swamp, with Dr. Octopus, Kang, and the Lizard versus the X-Men. And again, all new stories that were never in the original Secret Wars comic books. Always a fascinating little piece that exists. I'm not sure. There's a US Secret Wars sticker album as well, which I haven't been able to sort of track down yet, which I think the sticker album features a lot of character images. Not like these, where they're actually merged into the background. So each one of these that you see here essentially comes with a square sticker, but then the character sort of can lift off and is sort of got a round or an outline around each of the characters. So you can maybe make it out on the Doom here, or the Hulk is probably the most pronounced. But there was a couple of these, or a few of these in here. I'm missing 98, which is the Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards one, but got all the others on this central panel. And then 111, the Cyclops one, I'm missing that. And then 118. So I think then I'm pretty much done in terms of collecting the Secret Wars album. And I do have a second one that I bought, which is not full at all. So, another 134, which is the Incredible Hulk. So maybe I'm missing 5 from this whole set. But again, this is another one of those stickers that is cut around the actual outline of the character rather than the traditional square ones that you see here. And again, more original stories, Hulk and Spider-Man. And then The World Savers, which is sort of based on the ending of Secret Wars. Some fascinating panels like this one with Mr. Fantastic going up and stretching to talk to Galactus. And then the final battle, which again, this one does speak somewhat to the original tale. And then you get little puzzle answers at the back here in terms of each of the characters and how you can order more stickers. Unfortunately, you can't get them anymore, so that's a real shame. So yeah, that's the 3 sets. So this is the new batch that I got, and as you can see here, I got all of the original set. Now they get slightly better grade as you go up the list here. So the Secret Wars number 8 is the one obviously everyone wants to get. This one doesn't have as many spine ticks. It could do with a couple of presses here, as you can see. So I'm looking forward to getting into that one and seeing if I can improve it. But I thought what I would also show you is just what happened with the Marvel UK books, because this is a fascinating one as well. So with Marvel UK books, what you ended up getting was these sort of this one is not so much of a recreation cover, but it's a recreation cover, sorry. This one is the original Mike Zeck art, so you get that first one. Secret Wars number 3. So I skipped to number 3. I don't have number 2 yet. Don't have the free sticker that came with it, that Doctor Doom sticker. And again, we can take this out and I can show you quickly the secret artist for this issue was Reed Richards as Mr. Fantastic. I really enjoyed the Secret Artist series. It was a really nice way to sort of play, very almost Crump-esque in terms of the way this is realised. And you can see his toupees coming off there, and he's all in knots, and his sign on his chest says "I am 4." So you know, a bit of comedy, very British. But again, reprinting that, and then I've got issue 4, which again is a reprint of the cover. Let's see what the secret artist for this one is. So the secret artist for this one is Nightcrawler. I should send this to Mike at Lunch Money Comics. I'm trying to dig a copy up for him so he can see have that. And again, a great image there in terms of Nightcrawler losing all his body parts through teleportation. We have Trev here. Hello, Trev. How are you, mate? It's really good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully, we were talking about Heroes Con yesterday, and so looking forward to next year and getting to actually spend a decent whack of time hanging out. So glad you're feeling better post Heroes, mate. And then we've got side quests. I haven't got any, but the new 4 reprints of the series look cool. Good way to get into the story and not break the bank. I agree. It's an interesting one in terms of the covers. Which one would you go? Would you go for the full set? I've toyed similarly with the Crisis on Infinite Earths ones as well, because they look very cool. So I think they've taken the idea from Crisis, to be honest, in terms of those 4 covers. So great to see. Issue number 5, where they mixed it up a little bit. They've taken, obviously they haven't taken the front cover this time. And then this runs with Alpha Flight in the back as well. So we get Alpha Flight stories in the back as well in some of the full color. But then we've got She-Hulk by the secret artist. Fantastic little image there with the Hulk in love with her, and this guy's mouth being. But yeah, as you can see, very, very Crump style in terms of the issues. This one you can see here is, I think it's a sneak preview of the next issue, and as you can see, I don't have that cover, but it started to move towards these original art covers. That one's a pretty classic one. I'll be digging and trying to find that one out. We had another free badge here with Magneto. issue number 7. This is a painted cover, which I'm not too sure. This is issue 4, reprints issue 4, where the mountain is on top of the heroes. But I think if I love this painted cover, but I do think that it's not in your traditional Marvel style. It's very UK centric, but would have done better, I think, than maybe the issue 4 cover. But pretty striking. Free sticker, obviously Wolverine not there. Wish I had that. And I can show you the secret artist. This one of Spider-Man. I'm sure everyone should be hunting this one out now. Very interesting rendition of Spider-Man there for everyone to enjoy. And then the other thing that they did is they encouraged readers to write in to sort of show what people thought the secret artist looked like. So they never actually revealed what the secret artist looked like, but they gave little glimpses. So people started thinking, oh, I'll send this in. And it became quite an interesting piece of the Secret Wars title. But there you go. That's another one of those. That's another UK original piece to go in the Secret Wars series. Another cover recreation of, I think, number 6. Let's see what we've got in the Secret Artist series. So we got the Wasp this time. I think there was a number of these that I'm missing. I think I might have the Iron Man one, which is hilarious, actually. Then again, we have another original piece of art that was created with the Spider-Man sticker missing, sadly, again. So no secret artist in this one, I think. I don't think there is a secret artist in this one. No. But again, what is interesting, you get these weird random stories. So the Iceman series reprinted for no reason. Because Iceman is not even in the Secret Wars book, and then Alpha Flight. So they started diversifying in terms of trying to spread the story out and make it last a little bit longer, because ultimately it was going to run out in that 6-month period. Yet another original UK piece of art that was created specifically for Secret Wars. You can see another one under there. So this is number 13. And we do have another secret. It is the Iron Man I was just referring to. I really like this one where Iron Man hasn't got his armor on, and this is what he looks like underneath. Love that head, which is designed specifically for his helmet, and the fact that he's got Brasso attached to the shower head. So that one's quite a funny one. So that is Secret Wars 13. Let me just check the comments again. So we've got Paul. Paul, good to see you too. Wonderful collection. Great to see UK books and sticker album. Brings the memories flooding back. Yes, it is so good to see these books. And when I do get them back from the UK, it's so great to see them, because you're right. Just all the memories come flooding back. Again, we've got another original artwork piece here, which is not published in the US. So this is the She-Hulk versus the Wrecking Crew, and she's about to get demolished by Absorbing Man and Titania. Secret Artist series, this one is Dr. Octopus, which is a fascinating one. Really like this. The detail in this is absolutely crazy, as you can see. The one I do like is that you've got all of his normal tentacles, and then this one random real octopus tentacle down there. But again, look at the detail on that. It's absolutely phenomenal. Someone should publish the series of Secret Artists, or just find the originals and put them out there. I'd urge you to go and do an internet search on Secret Wars Secret Artists and have a look at some of the pieces of work that they did for that. Then we got another one, Secret Wars issue 15. With this cover, and then let's just check out, see if there is a secret artist in this. No. What we do have, though, is the Alpha Flight whiteout issue, which I've always found hilarious. John Byrne literally phoning it in because he could get away with it. Just hilarious that there is literally no art in this, because they're fighting in the snow. But yeah, good on John for getting that one past the editorial team. It's a classic piece of comic history, that one. Issue number 16. Again, another piece of original cover art for Marvel UK. So this one's by John Ridgway. Secret artist this time is the aforementioned Wrecking Crew with R2-D2 head. We've obviously got the skunk repellent, I think. So yeah, they're a little bit stinky. But yeah, the Wrecking Crew, as seen and done by the secret artist. So there you go. There's that one. And then there's my UK reprint of the first Black Symbiote suit, issue 17. So this one is, again, this one's, I'm super happy with this one because you compare the two, the size side by side. There you go. You get a much bigger Spidey. He's positioned slightly differently in the mix, but it's to all intents and purposes the same image. But yeah, you get a little bit more, just that little bit more grander in terms of the way it's presented. So I might get this one graded, although there is a little ding in the corner here. But yes, nonetheless, this is a great one to have in the collection to go alongside that Secret Wars number 1. We've got some more top secret art, so people still guessing what the secret artists look like. And you just literally get that single moment. So not in color, just in black and white. And you get, obviously, the black suit Spidey reveal. And then the story just is very, very quickly done. So let me see. Let's pop this back in. And you got another piece of original art for Secret Wars. So we were talking about covers earlier. This is another one. Another great cover with Nightcrawler bamfing or teleporting onto that attack droid. But he is Doom. I'm confused. He's Doom. Which one are we talking about, Vincent? Let me know. Let me know. Title less busy at the top of that Secret Wars. Yes, it is. And again, really nice and clean, right? Like if you can go out and get it, issue 17 in the UK. Not sure how they're priced. I haven't had a look. I've been buying these in lots and just finding them randomly. So it's not too bad if you do it that way. I don't think there's a secret artist in this one, so just a straight up reprint. But again, nice cover. And then in issue 20, they joined with the Zoids, which was, I don't know if you had the Zoids in the US, like a sort of action figure range that was out of the UK. And they were featured in here. No secret artist. And there's your Zoids. I don't know if you can see that. They were basically dinosaur robots. So very British. But yeah, they were very short-lived, unfortunately, the Zoids, especially when they were up against Transformers. There's that aforementioned Doctor Doom cover, which is, yeah, as I say, that's probably why I dislike it a little bit, because it does look very scrappy here when it's blown up. So I never really I love the pose, as I say, but I wished it had been inked a little bit better. And it's a weird one, considering that this is Mike Zeck and Terry Austin. So yeah, just fascinating that's, yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of that cover. Another new original one for you, so Secret Wars featuring Zoids. No secret artist. By this point, I think the secret artist has disappeared. But yeah, that's a great Doom cover that you wouldn't see on any of the US books. And the reason why they were doing their original art at this point is obviously they were breaking the issues down. So you were getting like probably about 5 or 6 pages per issue. So they were really trying to stretch it out. Then we get a recreation of this one with a little bit of text from Dr. Doom. So not realizing the face of Doom, but essentially this line, the wars are over and you're looking at the winner. Great to compare and contrast the two there. I'm just going to do a double check to see if we have any secret artists. No, but we do have got Doom's face, and I don't want to see it. It's not real. Doom should never be seen. Then we have Secret Wars 26. So this is the Christmas issue. So of course they had to go and ruin it. So they had Slade. Did you get the pun there, everyone? Did you get the pun? So the PS side quest had some Zoids. I need to do some digging on Zoids. I was not really a fan, and I hated it when they introduced into that. I hated IP titles in the original comic series. It sort of distracted a little bit. Like Secret Wars featuring Zoids, it's a bit of a purist in that regard. So I prefer issue 17 to more space for the artwork and bigger size. Yes, I do agree. So yeah, this classic Christmas cover. I'm not sure which one do you prefer. I do like the fact that they've actually used instead of all the dead bodies lying there, he actually used the explosion where they are all destroyed in the background instead. And then Merry Christmas, everybody. So I should get that one posted on my Instagram at Christmas time so that everyone gets a nice Christmas message from Doom. Maybe put a mask on him, but that's a nice, interesting one. I'm just going to double check if we do not have a secret artist. So as I said, by that point they dropped the secret artist, which is a real shame. Went on for a little while, and then it pivoted very quickly. So December 85, they then started reprinting the stories from Secret Wars 2. We won't go through those today. But again, you got some really cool covers. For the most part, they were the reprints, but sometimes they'd use the interior pages as a cover. This one's a great one by John Byrne. If Mr. Aitken's watching this later, this one's for you, sir. But yeah, some of the books had great covers, some of them didn't. But it's good to see the artwork in full display. And then what else I thought I'd share with you is the CGC collection that I've got. But before we do that, I'm going to show again my most recent, outside of the 12 books that I picked up, is the Star Dart with Spider-Man that I picked up recently at a toy fair in Australia, which amazed me that I was able to find this in such good condition. Essentially, this is one of the play sets that you can build, and basically it comes with a free black suit Spidey inside. I won't open it this time, but there is a video which I'll put in the description that you can check out, where I open it up and take you through what it looks like. But it's a fantastic little play set. Showcases the Freedom Fighter Station and all the action figures that you could get at the time. I think that this was, I think this is published, 1984. So one of the original sets. So to find it over here in Australia in such great condition as well, really happy to get that piece of Secret Wars memorabilia. Then I thought I'd show you where it all started. So this is Marvel Age number 12, where they showed the first preview of the Secret Wars series. And again, you can see Shadowcat on the cover here, where she was originally supposed to be. So that is a great one to sort of pick up. Now, this one's notable because it has the first black costume concept art inside. So predates 252 Amazing Spider-Man 252, which is widely regarded as the first issue where that debuts. So this was March 1984. I thought it was February 1984. So Wikipedia is incorrect. It is March 1984. So that's a copy of Marvel Age 12. And then I thought I'd share with you just the entire CGC collection that I have of Secret Wars. And one thing you'll notice with each of these, I've been very meticulous in getting them all signed by the creators that worked on the book. So this one is signed by Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck, and John Beattie. So you get the full trifecta on this one. It got the 9.8. I think I had this done in 2020. August 2020. How I managed to do that, I'll never know. I think this was a submission through CGC rather than me traveling at the time. So I was originally traveling to cons and getting these books all signed. But yes, with this one, I think this was a mail-in. A number of these were mail-in. So I sent a whole bunch in to get signature series. Let's see if I can move this light so it's not as intrusive. It's not working, is it? Oh, well. Maybe we'll turn it off. Does that make a difference? Is that clearer for everyone? Let me know what you think. Hopefully you can still see that. Let's see what's going on in the comments. I've not been paying attention. Title less busy. I prefer issue 17. We've had that. This is such a cool side-by-side comparison. Never seen this done before with UK versions, and it's great. Thank you. No problem. As I say, I'll try and do more of that piece side-by-side. I do have some more books coming. One in particular is I've got a Hulk 181 and the UK version of that. So that'll be an interesting one to do a side-by-side comparison there and how they look. As I say, if you get a chance, pick up a couple of these UK books. It's always interesting to see how they repurposed a lot of these books. So it's always fun to have those books. So then what do we have? We have one from Richard. Yellow Label comics are awesome. Very cool. Richard, if you like Yellow Label comics, I think the next 12 issues are going to be right up your alley. So this is Secret Wars number 1, as I say, triple signed, 9.8. And then we have a comment. Dang, Dave, those are great with signatures. You're a madman to get all of those. Thank you. Now I do as well try and get the variants. So I haven't had this one signed as yet. So I might get this one signed to see if I can get essentially get a 9.8, because it's pretty close given it's a 9.6 newsstand variant. Then we're back to the signed books. We've got, again, the trifecta, John Beattie, Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck on issue 2. So that is a good one to have. This one didn't get signed by Mike Zeck or John Beattie, just by Jim Shooter. I think that he was just doing signature on his own. Oh, no, I got this one signed. This is a more recent book. And as you can see here, they're all 9.8s. So every single one, I have the full set of Secret Wars in 9.8 signed by the respective artists. So this is issue 3. And then we have issue 4, the issue that I was talking about, that one that I had previously signed by Mike Zeck. Let me move this out of the way so you get a better glimpse at it. So this is the issue 4. Jim Shooter on the logo. I really like this, and especially with the yellow. Like, it actually makes the cover look a little bit better with that yellow label with the yellow text. So happy with that one. Let's bring up issue number 5. Again, Jim Shooter on the front cover. Jim Shooter signature. No Mike Zeck on this one. And then we have Secret Wars number 6, another Jim Shooter signed copy. Happy to have that, as I say, 9.8. Then we have, again, yet another Jim Shooter signed copy of issue 7, the first appearance of the new Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter, who was done dirty in Madam Web, unfortunately. So yeah, but a great cover nonetheless. Happy again to have that. Now we get to the interesting one. So this is my copy of Secret Wars number 8, signed by Mike Zeck, Jim Shooter, and John Beattie, coming back at a 9.8. This was originally a 9.6 when I submitted it, and it got a grade bump at the time, and I was absolutely stoked. It was in the middle of COVID, and to get that back as that 9.8 fully signed, Yellow label. Brilliant book. And the placement's not too bad either. It doesn't distract from the book. So really happy to get that 9.8. But the Spider-Man issue 8 fun didn't stop there. And I think I've shown this on Rob Fatstack's Only Slabs show previously, is this one. So this is a 9.6, but it's a very interesting 9.6. I bought this pre-COVID, and it is essentially, it's a double cover. So you can see the outside cover was a 9.2, and the interior cover is a 9.6. So graded and signed by John Beattie, Jim Shooter, and Mike Zeck on the outer cover, not on the inner cover. So this is a great book because I don't think there's many double covers that I'm aware of. And the interesting story with this one is when I submitted it to CGC originally, and this is another testament to CGC's amazing quality control, they did not recognize the double cover. So how you can grade a book that has a double cover and not recognize the double cover, I'm a little bit at a loss. So luckily got that one fixed, turned around, and they regraded the copy and then checked out that the interior cover was a 9.6. So it came back, originally it was 9.2, and then came back once they had recognized the double cover and gave it a 9.6. Let's just see what Richard has to say. How did the double cover not get a 9.8? Well, Richard, how did they not grade the double cover in the first place? I suspect if I resubmitted this, it might get a 9.8. But again, now it's a tricky one because it's been signed. So I'm quite happy with a 9.6 on this. I mean, there's not that very many double covers, so it's pretty rare in and of itself anyway. So I can live with that. But yes, I agree. Why didn't it get the 9.8? Because they're generally protected from those. ASM 238 is used twice on 2 UK comics if you have them as comparison. I would need to have a look at that. I will check it out. Maybe in the next stream, I will mark that down and get back to that. I'm actually going to start digging around for those other copies that I came across, the crossover titles, because I want to, if I'm going to get the Secret Wars series, I need to get those titles. So that's ASM 238. I will remember that, Paul, and we'll see if we can bring it up on a future show. So that's my Secret Wars 8 double cover. Then we have Secret Wars 9, signed by Mike Zeck, Jim Shooter, and John Beattie. A little bit more messy on the signatures there, but again, another 9.8 to go with that signed collection. We have Secret Wars 10, all signed by Mike Zeck, Jim Shooter, John Beattie. We've got a Secret Wars 11, signed by Michael Zeck, John Beattie, and Jim Shooter. And then to close this off and probably end today's stream is Secret Wars 12. Let me just move this down so that you actually get a really good look at it. There you go. Secret Wars 12, After the Big Bang, signed by the 3 creators, John Beattie, Jim Shooter, and Mike Zeck, and a 9.8. So that's your lot. That's my Secret Wars deep dive today. Hope you enjoyed it. It's been so good having you all in the stream. Maybe I'll bring the screens up into the normal format. There you go, much better. So you can still see the books. Maybe we'll put that Secret Wars number 8 there. So you get a bit of, oh, maybe not. That doesn't work very well. We'll probably just leave it there. But yes, glad you enjoyed it. Hope you had a lot of fun. We do have 9-panel grid. Fellow YouTuber who is in the category for Best New Channel alongside me. So again, if you haven't already, please get out there and vote irrespective of who you want to vote for. Get in there and vote for all the great people that are in those categories. I think 9 panel grids in Best New Channel and also in the Best Unknown channel as well. But there are plenty of other channels to check out. But please, please, please go over there and vote for your favorite channels. There's a lot of effort that goes into those awards. So welcome. We've got Nate. Hello. How are you, Nate? It's great to see you. And yes, as Richard just mentioned, thank you, Richard. I appreciate the feedback. Always a pleasure to get that from you. So close to 1,000 subs. Yes, that is my other little bit of news. You may notice I have my counter now running. We're at 978 subscribers. We're so close to that 1,000. Haven't worked through if I'm going to be doing a giveaway yet for it, but we're pretty close, and it got very close in the last, I'd say, 3 weeks, because the videos have been really doing well for the channel. So thank you all for the support. It actually means the world to me, and I'm still amazed that we've got to this point after only, I think, 10 months. So my first video I ever published was, I think, October 31st or something around that period. So we are almost going to hit 1,000 before the first year. So super happy to get that, and I want to thank everyone for all the support. It's been amazing. You've been amazing, and can't wait to do more stuff with everyone and be part of this great community. So with that, I think I will wrap it up for today. Thank you all for attending and coming. I think I called everybody out. If I've missed anyone, please let me know. But again, we've got another great Monday mail call coming up next week. Won't be in the studio, unfortunately, but I am going to be joined by Gary Sassaman from Tales from My Spinner Rack YouTube channel. He'll be showing off a few of his books. And who knows, we might do a couple of random live streams in between that as well, in terms of comic shops that I'll be visiting over this week as well. But again, wanted to thank you all for coming to the show, attending. For those of you who are new or watching this on the rewind, if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button, because we're so close to 1,000, and ring that notification bell for future content. And if you like the video, please make sure to hit the like button on the way out, and feel free to leave any comments on Secret Wars before you go. And with that, I will see you all next week and see you on the live show at a future point. But once again, thank you all, and we'll see you again soon.
Best New Channel. Nine panel grid. Lettuce Comics. Aurora Comics Podcast. Still only 35 cents. Swag Dub.
Don't forget to check out our other videos or our weekly live stream, the Merry Monday Mailcall Show, as well as follow us at Still Only 35 Cents on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Nuff said.